Uh, so yeah, that whole like dice rolling intro thing did not last for very long, did it? All right, so right now, oh, right here is Studio Series 86 Bumblebee, and this guy quite literally haunts my dreams. Every time I go to my local Walmart and I look at the transformable stuff, I see four of this dude just sitting on a shelf. I swear it's the same four every time. I mean, I can't really tell, to be fair, but seriously, there is an overstocking issue when it comes to this figure. Okay, I feel like the first thing I have to talk about is just the size of this dude, because he's tiny. He's like genuinely impossibly small compared to other deluxes. I mean, like, obviously next to my hand, but none of you are going to know exactly what my hand is like. So instead, here I have a Transformers, a G1 Transformer with him. And this is, I don't know what Transformer this is. I'm actually going to be so real. But here he is next to a G1 Transformer. And it's like not even close at all, which is genuinely kind of crazy. Just how small this Bumblebee is. I mean, I'm not complaining. When it comes to other 86 figures, he is definitely like the right scale. So I definitely get why they made him so small, but I definitely think it's just an interesting aspect of this figure. All right, so the first thing I guess should be the, the accessories, accessory singular. He's got one accessory, which is this little blaster right here. I know it's a very similar mold to the blaster that comes with the 86 Ironhide, but I know it's not the exact same. It's painted entirely silver except for the handle, and it has this little peg there. I'll show that. I mean, I guess I can show it now. Actually, that peg's in on the back of him. Oh, there we go. And that also works in vehicle mode. I mean, I think that storage is really mostly there for vehicle mode, but still. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. But the figure itself, I mean, detail-wise, he's G1 Bumblebee. His feet are pretty big for G1 Bumblebee, but that's also normal for actually transformable G1 Bumblebees. Head sculpt is pretty decent. He's kind of just got like a basic, like, like emotionless face. It's weird, but the paint's pretty good. The paint on the eyes is good, and the rest of the head, the mold of the rest of the head's pretty good. The way the horns are done pretty well. They're rounded. They're not spiky at all. Then I guess I should talk about one of the biggest like things on this figure is just the yellow paint, because it's a very common issue for Hasbro to actually paint match Bumblebees properly. But I mean, you can see it's not the worst paint matching here. It's probably some of the best paint matching between the plastic and the actual paint. And then also the windows on his chest are painted black. They're not painted blue. The same thing goes for his back, which is weird. I would have preferred them being painted like a light blue or something. But then he's got some decent detailing on like his legs and everything, but it's kind of just random panel lining. His hands look pretty good. They've got a cool like little symbol or like pattern on the outside. Um, that's how his thumbs look. I mean, there's really not much to say when it comes to the actual like visual design, because I mean, it's G1 Bumblebee. There's not much to say. He turns into a beetle. He turns into a VW Beetle, and he's yellow. All right, let's get into articulation. Okay, so starting up with the head, he can look, I think, 360. Yep, his head is on a ball joint, and so you get actually you don't get like any head tilt. There's a very small amount of head tilt you get. Then he can look up that much, look down that much. Then moving to his arms, they can go out that much. They can go 360. He has an elbow joint that goes technically full 90 degrees, but you'll hit a catch heel and then it'll click. That's full transformation. It like tabs into itself for the transformation. So yeah. Then his hands on a swivel that can go full 360. They're kind of loose on mine. I don't know if that's issue on like multiple, if that's like a common issue. It's not even really much of an issue. They'll loose, but they're not like so loose that they just keep spinning. Then he does have a full rotation at the waist. His legs can go forward that much the hip. They can go back that much of the hip. They can go out that much of the hip. He does have knee joints. They're very difficult to use, though. So, there we go. They go 90 degrees back, and they do, because of transformation, go 90 degrees forward as well. Again, that's for transformation, so you're not really supposed to use it. Oh, man. For robot mode, but you can. Then he's got some pretty good foot tilt. And that's like, and then his feet they can do this, again, because of transformation. But, I mean, in terms of articulation, that's really all there is to him. He's a fairly simple figure in terms of articulation. Alright, let's get into this transformation. It's a fairly simple one. It's going to still be difficult for me to record because of the legs. Again, those knee joints are going to be annoying. So I usually just start by putting the arms to 90 degrees. Then come to the backpack. So this backpack is super weird. I think technically, because you can see there are these little notches that are supposed to line up with these pegs. Technically, I think you're supposed to like put in robot mode. Those pegs are supposed to go into those little notches. But every time I do it, I feel like he's gonna break, so I just don't. So yeah. So anyway, open the chest, move that up, pull the Bumblebee head like that, close the chest back up, and then pull these butterfly joints out, and then make sure the arms are like that, then swing them up, and then close them. You'll see this arm has a hole, this arm has a peg. You just gotta get them into place, and then I usually just peg the hands together before I make sure everything else is together properly, because that'll make things easier. And then you want to push this back. I gotta remember how this actually goes. It doesn't go like that. You'd think it would go like that because of the way the hinge is set up, but it doesn't. It goes... It's really annoying. Or doesn't work that? It does. Right. Yeah. It hinges in two places. It hinges like there, and it hinges there where the head goes in. So then you gotta try to... Oh. You gotta try to keep everything nice and like... closed. Oh. There we go. Okay. That looks about good. Now, the legs. So... Okay, so easiest way to start is just lifting this foot platform, opening that up, closing it, and then pushing that down too. And these platforms are specifically there so that the wheels don't touch the ground in robot mode. which is nice because it keeps him from like rolling all over the place, but it's also a little annoying. So what I like to do, you also gotta like put the waist in like that. So what I like to do, because of how stiff the knee joints are, I like to go ahead and push, there we go, push in the knees there, just like get them going a little bit. Then you gotta twist the feet until like the hood slides into place, and it'll just kind of, when you push it, hopefully the knees, as long as you push them in forced, the knees will like snap properly, and then you can pack them together. And yeah, there he is. There is 86 Bumblebee fully transformed. Okay, so again, I want to start with scale, and again, he's so small, I can't help but only compare him to everything other than modern Transformers. So here I have a Hot Wheels car to compare to 86 Bumblebee, and there they are together. He's small. I could have chosen a different Hot Wheels car, but he's tiny. He's tiny. All right. But anyway, so getting into like detailing here. The wheels look really good. The front wheel is really just a scaled down version of the back wheel. But they look really good. They're painted really well, and I really appreciate that. Speaking of well painted, these headlights and the front bumper look really good. Obviously, the seams from the 2 feet make the front bumper look kind of weird, but I definitely think that it looks pretty good with the headlights. And then overall, as long as you've got them packed together properly, it's a fairly seamless alt mode. I tend to find the biggest area of problem here is right with just the front of the feet, well, because these are the parts that like slide and fold inside of the feet. That causes issues. So yeah, the Autobot logos, Autobot symbols look pretty good. I mean, I assume they'll paint it on, but neither of mine have begun to scrape yet, which this one, specifically in the front, I would definitely be more worried about scraping, again, because it folds. In the back, the rear lights look, I mean, pretty good. I mean, they're painted well enough, I guess. And then, again, this little hole for weapon storage, because weapon storage is good. Who doesn't want some weapon storage? And, oh. There we go. I mean, it kind of just sits there, but it doesn't look terrible. And then, we'll say if he's displayed at any kind of an angle, you can start to see those hands. But I think for the most part, there's no issue. And even like the underside here, when he was just looking at it, isn't that bad. Like, it's a pretty clean undercarriage as far as core formals go. So, I mean, I'll definitely take it. And with some other figures, like when you compare him to some other figures, he's not even in frame. When you compare him to some other figures, he definitely, especially with other 86 figures, he's to scale. He just looks comically small. And I mean, I'm not complaining. I mean, he's exactly what he is. I would definitely say for the deluxe class pricing, it might seem odd at first, because like he's so much smaller than a regular deluxe. Because let me see if I can find my cliff jumper. Where is he? There he is. So like, I mean, I don't have him transformed, but like cliff jumper compared to this little dude, that's pretty funny. And especially, I'll keep using Bumblebee for scale in future videos, because I just think it's funny to see how small this guy is. But there's specifically a video that I'm going to have coming out in a few weeks that is going to make him look very, very tiny, It's going to be very funny to see. Alright, so that's been my look at Studio Series 86 Bumblebee. I very specifically chose this one because of what next week's video is going to be. So, guess in the comments, I guess, and like the video to help it do better. And subscribe if you want to see that next video on time when it releases. But yeah, so thanks for watching and see you next week.